Most Christians treat Romans 12:2 like a motivational poster. Be transformed, renew your mind. Nice words. Frame it, move on. But here's the real problem. It's Tuesday night. You're anxious again. Same argument playing in your head for the 100th time. It already happened, or it hasn't happened yet and probably never will. Doesn't matter. It's on repeat. So you do what you always do. I just need to try hard, pray more, discipline myself. And it works. For a day, maybe two. Then willpower runs out. It always does. Guilt shows up right behind it, and the whole thing starts over. Here's what nobody tells you. Paul was not writing a self-help slogan. He wasn't telling you to try harder. In the original Greek, the word he used is metamorphoo. Say it slow. Metamorphoo.
Yes, that's where we get metamorphosis. Not a mood adjustment, not a pep talk. Total physical, structural change. The kind a caterpillar goes through to become something that can fly.
And here's the part that should stop you cold. 2,000 years before any scientist scanned a human brain, before neuroplasticity was even a word, Paul laid out a framework. 3 steps, physical and spiritual at the same time, for literally rebuilding the human mind. Science is only just catching up. So let's go there. Let's find out how your mind actually changes. For real, not just for a weekend. Strategy 1. Pattern interruption. Your brain does something whether you want it to or not. Every time you rehearse a fearful thought, a self-critical thought, a resentful one, your brain strengthens the wiring behind it. There's a name for this. Hebb's Law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Let me paint you a picture, because this only really lands when you can see it. Picture a wide open, grassy field. Nobody's walked across it yet. Now, you start cutting the same path every single day. Week 1, barely a mark. Month 1, there's a visible line. Month 6, that's not grass anymore, that's dirt. 2 years in, it's not a path, it's a trench. That trench is a neural circuit. And here's the part that actually matters for you. Once it's deep enough, you stop choosing to walk it. Your feet just go there. Automatically. Sound familiar? That's what anxiety feels like after enough years. That's the self-critical voice. You're not choosing it every time. The trench just got deep enough that your mind just defaults there before you even notice. Now, look at Romans 12:2 again. Paul doesn't just say, be transformed. He tells you what to stop first. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world. The Greek word for conformed is schematizo. It means being poured into a mold from the outside, pressed on you until you can't tell the mold from who you actually are. Sound familiar again? That's the trench. Paul described a neural circuit 2,000 years before anyone had the vocabulary for it. So, how do you break a circuit that deep? Most people try the obvious thing. Fight it head on. Stop thinking about it. Stop being anxious. But here's what the research on thought suppression actually shows. Try hard enough not to think about something, and your brain lights it up brighter, not dimmer. Tell yourself not to picture a white bear. Go on, try it. Fighting the trench directly just digs it deeper. So don't fight it. Isolate it. Step outside the thought and look at it instead of climbing inside. This is exactly what 2 Corinthians means by taking every thought captive. Psychologists have their own word for it now. Metacognition. Thinking about your thinking. Pulling back one step and saying, That's a groove my brain runs on autopilot. That is not truth. That's not even me. And here's the good part. The moment you observe the thought instead of stepping into it, the moment you call it just the trench talking, you cut off its power supply. Right there. You stop walking that path today. And a trench you stop walking, it starts to fill back in. Not overnight, but it starts. That's step 1. Interrupt the pattern before you try to replace it. Strategy 2. Directed neurogenesis. Building the new path on purpose. Here's what people miss, and it costs them. Breaking the old pattern isn't the finish line. It's half the job. Your mind hates empty space. Interrupt a toxic loop and leave nothing to replace it, and your brain drifts right back to the deepest trench it knows. Old habit beats good intention every time, unless you give it somewhere new to go. So what actually builds a new pathway? This is where it gets interesting. There's a molecule in your brain called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Researchers nickname it fertilizer for the brain because of what it's linked to. New neural connections, new branches, new pathways where there weren't any before. Now here's the question that should make you sit up. What triggers your brain to make more of it? Not what you'd expect from a culture addicted to scrolling. Sustained, focused attention. Deep contemplation. Not the 5-second attention span thinking most of us live in all day. Deliberate, repeated, dwelling on one thing. Now, put that next to Philippians. Paul writes, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure. Think on these things. Read it fast, it sounds like a nice attitude tip. Read it slow, next to the neuroscience, it starts to look like an instruction manual for what to deliberately, repeatedly feed your own brain chemistry. Paul isn't telling you to think happy thoughts so you feel better for an afternoon. He's telling you to dwell, actually linger on truth, on what's honorable, on what's pure. Because that sustained focus is exactly the kind of mental work linked to your brain laying down new architecture. That's why a 30-second prayer on your way out the door rarely changes anything long-term. And a slow, repeated meditation on one truth, the same verse turned over for days, weeks, actually starts to rewrite you. It's not magic. It's not even that mysterious. It's your brain doing exactly what it was built to do when you finally give it sustained, focused material to work with. You're not just wishing yourself into a better mental state, you're practicing your way into one. Every day you dwell on truth instead of dread, you lay down one more thread of new material, right next to the old trench, not inside it. Give that new path enough days, enough repetition, enough attention, and it stops being the new path. It becomes the one your mind reaches for first. That's directed neurogenesis. Don't just tear down the old. Build the replacement on purpose. One focused thought at a time. Strategy 3. Somatic integration. And this is the one most people skip, because most people think the mind and the body are two separate problems. For a long time, even in church, we treated the mind like it floats somewhere above the neck. Fix your thoughts and the body just follows. But that's not how you're built. Brain and body are wired straight together through something called the vagus nerve, a highway running from your brain down through your heart and gut. And here's why that matters. If your body is stuck in fight or flight, what the Hebrew scriptures call pahad, that raw animal survival panic, your brain's ability to build new pathways drops significantly. Sit with that for a second, because it reframes everything we just covered. You can know the right scripture. You can spot the trench. You can even know exactly what truth you're supposed to be meditating on. But if your body thinks it's under attack, shoulders up, chest tight, nervous system braced for a predator, your brain physically cannot do the rebuilding work as well.
This isn't a discipline problem. It's not even a faith problem. It's biology. You cannot rebuild a mind that doesn't feel safe. Which is exactly why Scripture keeps pairing mental renewal with stillness, with rest, with reverence, not just effort. There's a Hebrew word worth knowing here, yirah. Usually translated fear of the Lord, but that translation loses something. It's not terror. It's a quiet, reverential posture, standing still, unhurried in front of something vast and sacred. Not scrambling, not striving. Still.
When you practice what Scripture calls being still, when your body actually settles into that posture of yira, not just your mind, something measurable happens. Heart rate drops. Stress hormones ease off. Your nervous system steps down out of high alert. And in that settled state, your brain becomes far more capable of forming new pathways. So stillness isn't the reward for doing the spiritual work. It's part of the mechanism. It's not a bonus round after the real work. It's the soil the new pathway actually needs to grow in. This is why Psalm 46 doesn't say, think harder about God. It says, be still and know that I am God. Stillness first, knowing follows. Practically, maybe it's 5 minutes before your feet hit the floor in the morning. Slow breaths, no agenda, just present. Maybe it's closing your eyes at your desk before you answer that email that's been eating at you. It's not complicated, but it's not optional either. Skip it, and you're building a house on ground that's still shaking. True metamorphoo was never just a mental exercise. It asks something of your body, too. Interrupt the pattern. Build the new path. And let your body come out of survival mode long enough for that path to actually take hold. So let's bring this together. Because on their own, each piece is just a piece. Together, they're the whole framework Paul gave us. Step 1, pattern interruption. Old thought shows up, you don't fight it. You name it. That's the trench. That's not me. Naming it cuts its power. Step 2, directed neurogenesis. You don't leave the space empty. You deliberately, repeatedly dwell on what's true. Sustained attention. Same truth turned over again and again until your brain starts laying new material. Step 3, somatic integration. Body comes along for the ride. Stillness, slow breath, a posture of yera. Because a body stuck in survival mode can't do the rebuilding work, no matter how right your thinking is. And here's what I want you to catch. None of this happens once. This isn't a technique you use one time and you're fixed forever. Paul didn't say be transformed and stop there. He said transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing. The present tense, ongoing, daily. So this isn't about getting it right once. It's about showing up
to interrupt, to build, to settle, again tomorrow. And the day after. Some days, that trench is gonna feel loud. That's not failure. That's just an old path that hasn't finished filling in yet. Stay with it.
Your mind is not a fixed thing you're stuck carrying around. It was never meant to be static. It was built by design to be renewed. Day by day. Not all at once. And definitely not through sheer, exhausted willpower. You get there by working with the blueprint God already built into your biology. A blueprint the Apostle Paul described 2,000 years before science had the language to explain why it works. Take the thought captive.
Plant the new path. Let your body come out of the storm long enough to heal. And let his peace do what willpower never could. Rewire you from the inside out.